Monica, great to have you back. Thank you. Um, as I said before, everybody say hi to Suzuki, who has got her spot. And let's just talk from the beginning here. We've got a few things I want to cover with everybody tonight, but welcome back to the live stream again. I'm Scott, your host, as always, 100% AI free. Tonight, I want to talk a little bit about our recent trips and some trips I made on Saturday and on Monday. And I'm going to tell you folks where we went. And we visited a place called 6 Mile Slough, and I want to talk about the word slough because I've always pronounced it slough, and I've learned recently why we call it slough. So we'll talk about that in a minute. And I also visited Alligator Alley's mile marker 35 nature area, which we visited maybe about 3 months ago, and it was still under construction, and it's done. I can report that not only is it done, it's awesome. It's got an amazing observation tower that you can look out over the Everglades and see the entire swamp, and they do indeed have alligators that you can see right there. So we will for sure talk about that. Uh, Quiet Nomad says, "Good evening, Suzuki." Nice kitty. Luke is saying hello too, walking up and down on my leggies. Yes, Luke is Monica's nice black kitty. You can see it. You can see Luke quite a bit in her awesome channel called The Quiet Nomad, which has pretty much the same theme we have here, which is let's get out of the crazy cities and suburbs and out into nature and restore our mental well-being. We'll be reading your comments from our videos, everyone, in a little while, and I want to talk to you about a specific video that I've got coming up, and I maybe want to ask for your input on what we should title it, if that's okay. So let's jump into this view here, and I've got a map I want to talk to you about. Now, this is Florida, and you can see this is a live weather update. We had this big storm that blew through here earlier today. I'm down in this region, down in southeast Florida near Fort Lauderdale and Miami. But on Saturday, I drove this way, actually, up across the top of the Everglades and down into this area, Fort Myers, Cape Coral. And I've noticed many times, that there's this strip of green that's always showed up, and it always caught my attention. I'm talking about this area right here. So as we zoom into it, we can see it's labeled here, 6 Mile Cypress Slough Preserve. So just a quick note about a slough. I've always pronounced it slough, and I think that this is something that's true of most people. When you see a word that either contains an existing word that you already know, or it is the same spelling and everything of a word that you already know, you tend to pronounce it the way that you pronounce the word that you already know. A very good example of this is the river that is spelled Anduin in the Lord of the Rings books. And most people would see a river called Anduin, and they would pronounce it Anduin. And that makes sense because you see the A and D at the beginning, and you know the word and because we use the word and in English all the time. So you would say Anduin, and it ends in IN, which looks just like the word in that we say all the time. I'm going in, and I'm going in. Well, as it turns out, the word was intended to be pronounced Anduin. Anduin is the way the author, Tolkien, originally would have pronounced that. So it's just one example of how we would tend to say a word the way we've always pronounced the same spelling. There's a town or city south of London that is Slough, and I believe they pronounce it Slough. The famous TV show The Office, which originated in a British television TV show, took place in Slough. So I've always called these sloughs, and we have a lot of these sloughs, which are just swampy, low-lying wetland areas. The water varies between 2 or 3 feet deep, maybe a meter deep, with alligators and other kinds of wildlife. But I picked up a hiking and trail guide while I was visiting this place, and it specifically says that it's meant to be pronounced slew, S-L, like S-L-E-W. So I've been mispronouncing it all this time. It's 6 Mile Cypress Slough Preserve. It's approached from this road here, 6 Mile Cypress Parkway. And as we zoom in, this is about as far in as I can get, but I would go to Google Maps. I suppose I could do that too, but let's take a look at the satellite picture. You can see that there's a large lake here. It's called Gator Lake. So and I won't bore you with why it's called that, but yeah, let's real quick well, I won't bother you too much with the map. The point is, on Saturday, I visited this awesome place, and it was fantastic. It lived up to the hype. Oh, there's a terrain map. The terrain maps don't really have any purpose in Florida because all of our elevations are in Florida are within 2 or 3 feet. We don't really have much elevation, so terrain maps don't make any sense. All right, so we went to 6 Mile Slough, and we also went to the this is I-75, Interstate 75, aka the Alligator Alley, and right about this point here, there's a rest area that I visited on mile marker 35, and wow, it's fantastic. It's difficult to see in this map, but we have a video coming up. And I'll tell you what, we're going to go through our videos right now and we'll talk about it. But they have built a fantastic nature observation area right here on the rest area on the pull off of the highway there. It's fantastic. All right, quick overview on the and by the way, as you can see in the bottom left corner of our screen down here, I've got our YouTube Studio stats tracker, and I figured I might as well keep that up on the screen so you can see the chat. You can see the stats. We've got 9 people who've come in and dropped in and looked at the live stream, and it looks like 7 of them had bailed back out because we currently have 2 folks, concurrent viewers. And the average time people have stuck around is a whopping 37 seconds. But hey, you can't please everyone. You know, YouTube, as people are scrolling by YouTube, it says, this person's live now. And they drop in and they see some weird guy sitting in his office in a hat. And they say, this guy's a rambler. I'm not talking to him. Anyway, it doesn't matter. Let's take a look at the channel. Look at this. We are at 2,913 subscribers, which is an increase of, I believe, 16 subscribers since our last live stream on Wednesday, which is more than 2 per day in the past week. And I had told you last time that we were increasing at about the rate of 2 per day, and it is starting to grow slightly more than 2 per day. We're going to get at 3 per day, then we're going to see 4 per day, then we're going to see 8 per day. We'll start seeing 16, 32, we'll see 50 per day, and this channel's going to have more subscribers than you've ever heard of. But the amazing thing is, you will be one of the first 2,913 subscribers. And honestly, I kind of only count the past 50 or so because there was about 2,500. There was about 2,500 subscribers when I completely tore the channel apart, tore it down, and redirected our efforts at getting out into nature. So really, the last 300 or 400 folks who've signed up and become subscribers are the only ones I really think are interested in what we talk about now. Let's take a look at the videos that are coming up. So let's scroll down a little bit because I've got this organized by date. So this top video is the most recent video we just recently put out, or I just recently put out. It's from last Monday. Is that what it was? Yes, Monday. Feeling the forest, why I touch trees. Let's just take a quick peek at that video. I'm going to mute the sound so we're not annoyed by that. But that was a short video, couple minutes long, and it's just talking about when you're out nature hiking or enjoying the outdoors. My point of that video was simply be sure that you're having a tactile experience and touch what you're out there by. Be sure that you're paying attention to your feet in the grass. As you can see me there, just touch the area you're in, and let your skin and your let your sense of touch get a handle on that. Quiet Nomad has a question. How did you make sure new people discover your channel? Fully relying on the algorithm, or do you do your own advertising? I don't do any advertising, in the sense that I don't do any paid advertising. When I put out a new video, I post a link to the video with a comment about it on Twitter or X, and I have a Facebook page for the channel, not my personal Facebook page, but a Facebook page for the channel. And I just post a link to the video both on Twitter/X and on Facebook. And other than that, I do community posts, which I don't think enough YouTube channel folks use. Let me go there for a second. If we're at my channel here and we see these tabs across the top, here's the live stream that's going on right now, and down below is the videos. But as you go across these tabs, there's a place called posts. It used to be called community. And these are posts that you can type a comment, or you can post a link to your video, which I've done here, or you can post photographs, you can post questions, you can post funny quotes, you can post polls. I don't think enough people use this. And when you here's me sharing someone else's channel. I'll show an example of how I would do that with your channel real quick. Monica, let's go to YouTube. Let's go to our buddy, if I can type, the Quiet Nomad. Il Nomado Silencio. That's the name of her channel, Nomado Silencio. So I've got her channel name right here. I'm going to highlight that, copy that. Let's go back here and make a new post. Let's just say the Quiet Nomad is a great like-minded channel. Check her out. And I'm going to put the link right there. Bing, bang, boom. We hit post, and we got a shared post right here, a shared comment. And as we reload it, you can see it's got, this is going to get shown to people in their regular, normal YouTube feed, along with shorts and long form videos. They'll see these posts. So the only other advertising that I'm doing to lure people to the channel and try to get them to learn about it is to use these posts, and maybe that shows up. I use tags when I make a new video. Every new video's got tags, and I try to be descriptive. And if you've ever looked at my videos descriptions, you'll see I've got plenty of stuff down inside the description. So if we go down here and hit this, I've got a description of what it is, and a link to another video, and a link to this is actually a link to a playlist that has about 100 videos in it for people to watch. And then there's plenty of tags and all kinds of interesting stuff. And then down here are the little chapter dividers. But I'm really not doing advertising, certainly not YouTube advertising or the paid advertising and the promotions. And if you go up here, you'll see, if I go to promotions tab here, you'll see that there was one promotion that I ran way back in May, and it cost $20. I paid $20 to advertise this particular video, this one super video, because it's a documentary style video, and I wanted enough people to see it. But there's also this perceived value that people see of videos as, oh, this must be a legit video because it's got 4,000 views. So if we actually go to that video, that's a documentary style video that I did some production work on. So that's the only reason you're going to see a promotion from me, is if I'm trying to push one specific video. But I haven't done that since May, and I'm not going to waste $20 on that all the time. So okay, let's go back to what we were talking about. And I should try to keep up with what our friend is saying here. Oh, that's super handy to know, and thank you for tagging me. Absolutely. Yes, ma'am. Yeah, she's seen me using the yeah, that's one of these things that not only do your subs see those posts, other folks also see them as well. So I do have some Facebook group experience and Facebook pages, groups and pages both. Um they've got a lot of positives, but they've got a lot of negatives, and I'm not really interested in hurting cats on one of those Facebook groups. So it's not really my jam, the Facebook group thing and the Facebook pages. Um, I'm trying to grow the YouTube channel. I'm not trying to grow a following on Facebook, but some people grow huge followings on Facebook groups and they monetize them and share and add revenue over there. And they're doing the same thing we're doing on YouTube, but they're doing it there. So more power to them, I guess. Here's some brewed sweet tea, brewed sweet iced cold tea. So in the video department here, if we look again, we just recently released this video. So let's talk about the videos that are coming up next. And the real question is which one to release next. So I've got two brand new videos, and that would be these two up here. One of them is, as I said, I revisited Alligator Alley's awesome, well, let's just see what the title is. Alligator Ollie's awesome observation tower at I-75 mile marker 35. And as you can see from this video, we've got a tourism type nature visit to this awesome nature space that was built out into the Everglades on the side of the highway. It's a large, giant cast iron alligator statue. But the feature is really the boardwalk out over the Everglades and the observation tower. So you'll see here there's a lot of neat informative signs and stuff like that. But this observation tower that you walk up to is really the highlight of the visit. So in this video, I get up there. So I don't want to give away too much of that, but it is definitely a neat place to visit, and I'm going to be heading back to that again. And Monica wants to know what kind of flavor tea do I have? Your favorite is mint peppermint. You're super nosy. You're allowed to be nosy. You're the only one watching the live stream at the moment, so you have me at my complete attention. This is just sweet tea. It's just tea flavored tea, sweet tea. When you hear somebody in America talk about sweet tea, that's that's a Southern America style, Southern USA style way of drinking tea. It's brewed and iced, and a lot of sugar is mixed in with it while it's being brewed and while it's hot. However, this is diet sweet tea. So if I had to pick a flavored tea, I do like raspberry flavored tea. All right, let's jump off of this one and let's now talk about the other option for which video is coming out this Friday, which is 2 days from now. And I do videos on Mondays and Fridays, usually in the morning, and the live streams that we're doing right now on Wednesday nights. All right, so this video's title, right now I've got it named, You Got This, Rise Above Stress. And if you can tell from the thumbnail on this, the thumbnail's kind of hard to see, but it's a little small, but you can see WAGMI. A lot of people don't know what that means, but that is a fairly popular, fairly common phrase that means we're all gonna make it. And this video's topic is encouraging, and it's on the subject of we're all gonna make it, or you got this. So she says she'll educate herself about this topic too after the live. I'm assuming that's still the iced tea, right? There's this delay where, I speak and you see it about 20 or 30 seconds later, and then I see your text comment come in. Maybe it takes me 5 seconds to notice it, and then I think about it and reply to it, and you'll see it 25 seconds or so after I say it. So you might see my reply to you a full minute after you type something. So it's like this asynchronous. We're not quite on the same um, time frame. Okay, so in this video, so I meant it as a uplifting and encouraging video. I say a lot of encouraging and uplifting statements as I walk through the 6 mile Cypress slough. Here's a good view of what the slough looks like. As you can see, us walking through. There's a nice old lady and her daughter um, walking through this Everglades area, right? And this is Gator Lake that I was telling you about. And I did not see any gators. I was there midday and I saw a lot of turtles. But at this particular place, I did not see gators in Gator Lake. So I guess I was thinking about titling the video WAGMI and let people just wonder what that meant and explain it in the video. But I don't think that title um I don't think that title has enough curiosity power to convince people to click it. So what I'm doing is the thumbnail says WAGMI, and I'm hoping that the thumbnail's WAGMI is enough of a curiosity grab that people will see that and say, what does that mean? And then they'll look at the name of the video, You Got This, Rise Above Stress. And then if they happen to see the first words of the description, which are visible under the thumbnail usually, should answer the question of what WAGMI means, what it stands for. So I think right now I'm going to settle on this. You Got This, Rise Above the Stress as the title of the video, with WAGMI being, yeah, the thumbnail. That's where I'm probably going to leave it. So the question is, do we do 6 Mile Cypress Slough first or Alligator Alley? I think we do You Got This first. So I think that Friday we'll do this. Now, I've only got you watching me. Only one person's watching us right now. So happy to hear your opinion about that as well, Monica. But between these two videos, this one is from Saturday and this one is from Monday. I think we're going to do the encouraging one first. Just by the way, we do have this many other videos recorded and ready to go out. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6 ready to go out. And you see, I have all these scheduled, but if you look at the dates, they're all scheduled like at the end of the year. I don't really expect them to go out at the end of the year. I just pop them in with those dates randomly to get them, just to get them at the top of the list because they're sorted by date. So this just moves, if you put them in a scheduled date 2 or 3 months in the future, it moves them to the top of the list. And that's just so I don't forget about them and forget to make a video public in the future. I don't want to forget I made one. Yeah, so video still to come. I did a neat trip out to the hidden birthplace of the PC, the place where they invented the personal computer, which has really nice outdoor gardens and nature area to walk through. This video was transmitting directly from the GMRS tower up in Boca, which was pretty neat. Not so nature-y resolved, but it's an interesting visit. This is a visit to the Arthur R. Marshall Natural Area, which is right on the Everglades, right on the edge of civilization, and it's really neat, you know. Let's see what our friend here says. I like this video and the idea of motivation. Great scenery, like always. I would keep the title, maybe just put some of the word with capitals or phrase the title as a question. Yeah, I agree. So let's just take a look at how I worded that. So you can see, maybe you're right. I think one of the words should be all caps. That's kind of a thing to do. Maybe maybe the word stress should be capitalized. I do that all the time, and sometimes I forget I'm supposed to do that. So I think, you want to emphasize certain words by, we could even, if we wanted to, we could even say, you got this, right? You got this. Rise above the stress. So good catch. And then down here, we've got the description that tells people exactly what we're talking about. But hopefully by then they've already clicked into the video. So yeah, I think that'll be the next one. And then 3 more videos. This is a trip I took out to a fairly local area where there's 3 separate parks combined side by side, all sort of squished up next to each other. It's very unusual, but there are 3 parks just clumped together to make one big park, but they all 3 have their own 3 names. And then here's a video I made about this nightclub that helped save Miami after Hurricane Andrew, which was a huge hurricane that came through in 1992. By the way, coincidentally, yesterday was the 90th anniversary of the largest hurricane that has ever hit the mainland United States. It's called the Labor Day Hurricane of 1935, and it's 90 years ago yesterday, and it swept in across. Let's look for a map on that. We can see the path of that horrendous, horrendous hurricane that cut across Florida, and then right all through the Carolinas, Georgia, Virginia, right even on Delaware. And unfortunately, it went right across the Florida Keys, the island chain that drips down from the bottom of Florida here. This hurricane and this purple, it was I believe it was a Cat 5 when it went across the Florida Keys. There was a bunch of World War I veterans that had been hired to help build the Overseas Railway, which was a, a a railway that was being built across the Florida Keys, and there was look at this. This entire train was swept off of the tracks. Um, what a disaster that had happened, and unfortunately, it killed hundreds of people. We have a video on our channel visiting the memorial and the monument from this horrendous hurricane 90 years ago yesterday. It just, it just scrubbed right through the bottom of the Florida Keys there. Maybe, yeah, maybe there's even some pictures at the bottom of this Wikipedia article about the monument. Let me see if we can, yeah. Yeah, here's the monument, the dedication of the monument from 1937, 2 years later. And that monument with this, this stone carved out thing is still there. I visited that earlier this spring, and here's what it looks like today. And here's a mass grave cemetery. Yeah, it was a neat trip and a neat visit we took out there. So that's an interesting video. But yesterday was the 90th anniversary. And what are you saying? You are saying, I've just learned that Labor Day in America is in August. Hopefully, I'm saying it right. It was in a TV show called The Chase. Love it. So weird because Labor Day is first way on the old communist bloc. Yeah, exactly. Yeah. Workers of the world unite, right? That was what they said. Um, so our Labor Day was Monday, which would have been September 1st this year. And I don't know the mechanism by which they calculate how they come up with what day it is. It's always a Monday. You always get Monday off. Let's just look up how the holiday works. You ask me these questions and it throws me down a rabbit hole here. It's when is it? It's observed on the first Monday in September. So it's always in September, not in August. There you go. Yeah. Um so every September, the first Monday, which happened to be the first day of September this year. But yeah, it's funny because it's the whole communism thing about the worker and the workers of the world unite and everything. But um, I guess it was probably a very political movement to institute Labor Day in America, however long ago it was, 100 years ago, 200 years ago, something like that. Um, 1882, so 140, 150 years ago. May Day was chosen by the Second International of Socialist and Communist Parties to commemorate the general labor strike in the United States and events leading to the Haymarket Affair. Yeah, boy, you want to go down another rabbit hole. I'm not going to get down the rabbit hole of Labor Day in the United States, but we do get a day off from work. So, oh, correction. Okay, yeah. So, yeah, May Day. I do know what May Day is. The first day in May for the rest of the world, as she says here. I say May 1st. She says 1st of May. Same thing. But yeah, I agree. All right, enough. This is not the Labor Day channel. We're not going to spend. Boy, you get me off on a topic. I'll spend way too much time here. She also points out that I'm ahead of myself regarding the videos. Yes, that is a good example. You definitely want to try to get a bunch of videos if you can. And I'll tell you something, Ms. Nomad. Um, there's been times when I've gone out to film and I've done 2 or 3 videos at the same location. And so I've, written my outline of things I want to talk about on 3 different topics. And then I find a nice location. Like I know you go location scouting on your e-bike, right? You might want to think about trying to do 3 or 4 or 2 or 3 videos on different topics at the same location on the same day. Take something to drink. Make sure you're, maybe packing a snack to stay energized. I've I've heard of this is funny. I've heard of people taking a shirt so they can change their shirt, make another video on the same location, but it looks like they're wearing a different shirt. I don't think I've gone that far. So let's see, where are we? Okay, so yeah, and the last video, oh boy, I got that weird little tickle in my throat, and I just took a drink too. That's what I get for talking for 40 minutes. Boy, Rob the Maritimer. That's the YouTube guy that's taught and coached both you and me, Nomad. He does these 3-hour live streams. How does he do it? How on earth does he do that? That's what I've done at Cruden Bay last weekend when we went on holiday, and probably will do this sample from now on. Yeah, so if you can batch create a couple, 2 videos, maybe 3 at the same location on the same trip, then you get back, edit them up, pop them in, and then you end up with some that are stacked up. So if I didn't keep making any videos, I could still do 2 per week for 4 weeks, right? I've got a month worth of videos here stacked up, but I don't intend to stop. I intend to keep getting out there and making some. All right, let's jump into some comments. Let's take a look and see who's been talking to us. So let's see here. We've got uh, our old friend Tendy Edits, who we know, said, I'm definitely crazy. That's on my video about working forever and not retiring. Somebody named Spatucularity said, dang, thanks, Scott. Yep. And then this is Living Life in the Lockyer, Life After 50. Nice guy that I also met through Rob the Maritimer. He said, we have to take out time to recharge. If not, we simply go flat. That's a really great way to put it, we have to take out time to recharge, and if not, we simply go flat. He double tapped that one. And then here, spatucularity again. Well, that's pretty straightforward to me that you rediscovered what living has actually felt like. And then Loduca said, I needed to hear this. Thank you. And then our friend Granny's Southern Corner was another Rob the Maritimer friend that we've met. She said, yeah, you got to have that recharge time. Now, in case you missed it, Granny went live streaming yesterday. I happened to catch Granny's Corner live streaming yesterday, so I don't get a chance to see that, Monica, or if you heard about that, but yeah, there you go. And Monica says, hey, wanted to ask, how's your dad? He is doing great. Yep. He's not watching with us tonight, but he is doing great. And thanks for asking about him. So yeah, let's take a look at her live. She went live a day ago, last evening, and I happened to jump in there, and she talked about some neat stuff. She talked about being prepared and preparedness. Pretty good conversation. You can always go back and watch these after the fact. Super nice lady. By the way, um, in fact, I made a comment during her live stream. I don't think you can see these. Here you go. You can open up this panel and reread the live stream. If you ever wonder where that is, it's right under the video, and you can go back and reread the people's comments from during her stream. What was I going to say? Oh, yeah, I was going to tell you, I happen to have noticed or learned about this channel who makes music. And I don't know what kind of music all of y'all are into or not. Um, oh, you saw me saying hi to, yeah, it said hi to you and said hi to Granny, right? In his live stream yesterday. This is some neat music. I want you to check it out if you're into any kind of instrumental music. This is calming, peaceful type music mostly. Um, the videos, I think he just, he picks random images and stuff like that. But it's neat. Here we go. I can't really play his music. I'd get copyright dinged, but I didn't get his permission to do that. But I do want to show you his channel. So the videos are the channel is called HWH Collective. Um, let me just drop that. I'll tell you what I'll do is I'll drop that in the chat, and that way he shows up later. So if anybody wants to see, the music's not for everybody. Some of it's kind of electronic, synthy sort of ambient type music, but anyway, I just wanted to share that. Okay, Granny commented and said, "Our local parks are wonderful, and I agree. We all need more time outside in the beauty of nature." Absolutely true, ma'am. 100%. And then look who left a comment here. I know who this lady is. She's the Quiet Nomad. And just for those of us who may be watching now that are not named Monica, or other people watching this video in the future, later on, if you're watching this video, be sure to check out the Quiet Nomad channel. I'll put that in our chat as well. Everybody go check out Monica's videos. Look who put a video out a day ago. Go, girl! Way to go! Oh, look at that landscape. Cruden Bay. That's awesome. I do not know where Cruden Bay is, but we will have to look that up on the map in a little bit. Way to go, girl, getting your videos out there. Oh, I want to see what I want to see what other scenery's on there. Let's do a little bit of jumping around. Ooh, look at you with your dissolve fade. Oh, look at the beauty of that blue ocean. Wow. I'm curious, can you let me know in the chat, did you do any color grading after this video? Oh, that was a nice transition. This blue looks gorgeous. And I want to know, is this the blue as it came right out of your camera? Or did you do some saturation and other kind of color grading effects? Because this looks awesome. This looks beautiful. Up on the northeast coast of Scotland, is that where we are? Is that where the Cruden Bay is? I guess we could just here. Let's just. We're going to Cruden Bay, in Scotland. It's a small village in Scotland on the northeast coast of the bay, in Cruden in Aberdeenshire. So you didn't have to go too far. That's good. Yeah, awesome. Here's Cruden Bay. And here's the home of Bram Stoker. He wrote the early chapters of Dracula here in 1895. He did, I tell ya. Neat. Boy, this looks it looks like a great place to go on a holiday. I bet there's some cute little. I bet you there's probably some cute little shops and shopping and restaurants. Super cool. Yeah. Awesome. Cruden Bay. We'll be watching this video. I'll probably watch the rest of this video tonight because I haven't got a chance to watch through it yet. And if you're talking in it, I got the volume turned off so I don't get. Do these quiet moments speak to you too? Share below and subscribe if you'd like more. Yeah, I don't turn on the volume of other people's videos because I don't want to get copyright violations. I see you have the watermark feature turned on your videos. That's pretty smart. I turn on the closed caption. I can see what you're saying. Yes, but we'll watch that later. Awesome. All right, let's close Granny's Corner. All righty. You would love my Hungarian friend Laszlo. He works at the airport and in love with airplanes and knows all of them. and the beer brands too. A couple years ago, I tried to catch some great photo of the planes, but quite restricted in Aberdeen. I mean, it was 5 years ago. We all know what was happening 5 years ago, don't we? My favorite moments when I travel from Roory to Aberdeen and I catch a glimpse of the plains, keeps it mystical and precious. By the way, is that safe to wait for folks with their luggage? Yeah, we talked about that in the comments, right? Depends on the airport, I think. Yeah, yeah, cool. Uh, Life After 50 said, very cool, Scott. I've never been to an airport observation area. I didn't know they existed. Well, they do. They're really neat. And she says, okay, here we go. What is you saying? I didn't. I got my phone fixed. The other videos were made with the same iPhone. It's 13 Pro Max. And when I set it up the first time, I could set the camera as a basis, have some tint, maybe. Yeah, the built-in filters, right, that are on iPhone's cameras. Those are great. That's cheating, but I didn't touch anything else on it. That video you showed can see Keith in the background jumping from rock to rock. Oh, really? Oh, really? I didn't notice that. Let's see. Where's Keith? Where's Keith? The thing I like about my microphone is I can say, where's Keith, jumping from rock to rock. I don't see him here. I don't see him here. I did see what looked like a person out here in this water, but I'm hoping it's not because they're not moving. Where's Keith? Where's Keith jumping from rock to rock? I love this old castle. That's gorgeous. Castles are cool. Oh, there he is. There he is right there. Hello, Keith, jumping from rock to rock. While you just sit on the grassy knoll eating a sandwich. I like your hoodie jacket there. That, like, embroidered slash design on theirs is very elfy. You could be an elf in the Shire there. Here's a nice comment. Paola Cat says, excellent. Thank you, Paola Cat. And Granny says, this is good advice, talking about this is actually when I was talking about your video in the live stream, and I said you can put a camera facing backwards on Keith's bike, pointing back at you, and she was commenting on that short. Every video gets turned into a short. She says, that's great advice. This comment made me laugh, you guys. I was talking about the Stranahan River, which goes from the Everglades to Fort Lauderdale, and randomly, Bionic Brady drops in and just randomly says, Van Halen once played a gig at Fort Lauderdale. It was 1981, and Eddie Van Halen was in prime form. Truly so. I didn't say anything about Van Halen or rock music or anything in the video, but I mentioned Fort Lauderdale and Bionic Brady. By goodness, thank you very much. She says that is Slane's Castle. I'm sure that's not how you say it. How do the Scottish say it? Slane's Castle? Slane's? Slans. Laddie, that's Slans. It's super haunted. We went back for ghost hunting the same night. That's a story to tell, I tell ya. Yeah, I have a terrible Scottish accent, which is horrible considering I was born there. You would think if I was born in Scotland that I would be able to do a pretty good Scottish accent, but no, it's terrible. Here we go. In my Fort Lauderdale thumbs up, a great place to visit. Short Quiet Nomad says, gosh, I wish I could visit that place. More of your videos to see, the more I want to go to America. I want to go to America. Yes, I agree. Okay, let's see. Granny said, this is beautiful, talking about our beautiful scenery video. And Lori Soul Circle. This one took me a while to figure out exactly what her channel meant. Lori, because I thought it was Lori's, O-U-L, but it's Lori Soul Circle. She says, I'm in nature every day. Nature literally absorbs the negative energy out of your body. Great message, a message that is desperately needed. So let's just peek there and let's see if Lori Soul Circle. Yeah, she's got videos. Awesome. And I should subscribe because I bet she makes good content. Look, she's by a tree. Stop the blur. How to start over without starting over. 40-year promise. Are you living a highlight reel? Mother's Day is more than flowers. Cool. Well, we will definitely be checking this channel out, Miss Lori and your soul circle, because you left us a nice comment. That's all it takes. She says, wait, you can't say I said it well because I don't know which one. I said multiple. I said slans, slains, slines, sloans. I don't know which one it is. Slane's Castle. I don't know. You know what we do? We'll ask the internet. We'll just go to the answer to all questions is in Wikipedia. Okay, how do you pronounce it? Come on. Where's the pronunciation? Ruined Castle nearby. Come on, where's the pronunciation guide? Come on. Slane's Castle. Uh there's New Slane's Castle and Old Slane's Castle. Neither one wants to tell me how to say it though. Oh well. Here, let's ask AI. How to pronounce Slane's Castle. The Quiet Nomad says it's Slanes. And AI says Slanes as it's Slanes. Oh, thanks. With a short A, like lane, but with an S at the end. And castle. I know how to say castle. Thank you, dummy. Okay, so it says a short A sound, but lane has a long A. A is long. Ah is short, but that's okay. It's just AI. You know, AI's dumb, but we'll just say Slane's Castle. Where were we? Alex Martinez. I know this kid. He says, very nice. Alex is a nice young man. Where he's just a drummer with a dream of joining a band. Please like and subscribe. I'll be uploading. Yeah, so how long has it been since Mr. Alex made us here's a marching band video. Yeah, he's not made any videos in quite a while, but I know who this young man is. Yeah, nice kid. I mean, when I say kid, I mean he's 21, 22, something like that. Monica says, "Oh, I'm loving how you doubt yourself and you say it perfectly." I'm famous for that. Yeah, so this was a neat comment. Andrew Rowland says, "Oh, that sandbag concrete retaining method. I've only seen that once before. Interesting visual result. Let me show you what he's talking about. In this video, where I visited this bridge and water inlet, this short that came out of that video, I turn around and I look at where they built a concrete retaining wall right here. And so the way that this is made, this pattern, is they take large bags of concrete powder dust and they just stack the bags without taking the concrete out of the bags. And then they hose it down and wet it down, and the concrete, cures in the shape of the bags. And they built this entire like retaining wall here by just laying concrete bags out in this pattern and then just hosing them down. You don't even got to take the paper wrapper off, honestly. You just keep soaking it and make sure it soaks all the way through. And then, with weather and erosion, it just rips apart. Just rips apart the concrete paper bag, and the paper's left and the concrete like steps effect there. Almost looks like stonework, but it's not. So Andrew here says, "Oh, that sandbag concrete retaining method." Yeah. Yep. And our friend here says, "I can see you made your decision about the hat." Yeah, actually, I've got two hats, like this hat right here, and the one I'm wearing in tonight's live stream and the one in that picture are identical model hats, but one is light gray and one is like a chocolate brown. Really like these hats. Let me get over here to this other view of just the camera. These are made by it's made by Redhead, Redhead is just a store brand or name brand to a large outdoor store that we have down here called Bass Pro Shops. Bass Pro Shops or Outdoor World, and this is their own store brand. But the thing I like about these hats is they're wool. I'm wearing it because it's chilly here in the house because I got the air conditioning cranked down. But they're wool, so the nice thing about them is you can't hurt them. You can scrunch them up and mush them up and crunch them, pull them up real small, and they always pop right back out. They always pop back into shape, and you can. I've literally rolled it up and thrown it in my pocket before, and they're pretty handy. They'll keep you warm when you're cool, and when it's hot outside, you're not hot in a. Believe it or not, wool will not make you too hot in the summertime, and they're great when it rains. That's the other thing. Wool also is fireproof, but I'm not too worried about that with a hat. That does make a difference for a sleeping blanket. If you go out camping, a wool blanket, it stays insulated when it's wet and it's fireproof. So that's good news. And what are you asking me here? Yes, work smarter, not harder. Absolutely correct. With the concrete bags, I think is what you're talking about there. And let's go back to our other view here. Are you into shoes? I was thinking about you, and if the stars align well, I could get a nice pair of good old Hungarian shoes named after the second biggest river, Tisza. Excellent quality. Yeah, maybe we can have a chat about that offline and figure out if we could do something like that. We have to figure out what my size would be in um, European sizing. Maybe we can work out something where we can find that. If you know a good source for good old Hungarian hiking and walking shoes, that might be awesome. And she says, like always, thank you for your support. No problem at all. You've got my permission for sharing content from my channel. It was good to see you on the live this afternoon on Rob the Maritimer. Learned a ton again. But hey, I'm a big cheerleaders of yours. That's right, you are. Our cheerleader. We are going to be at 3,000 pretty soon. Just you watch. Here, let's jump up here and see. Did we get another subscriber while we're out here watching? No, but that's okay. And in response to one of our community posts, Quiet Nomad says, "What birdie is that? That limpkin." Yeah, the cool thing about the limpkin, and it even says it in this article, is it's also called a crying bird. Listen, I can't even tell you how noisy and loud that thing was. I saw it on the um, fence post or whatever you call that thing, and it was just sitting there, but it was like just screaming its head off. Where's that picture? Here, birdie, birdie. Yeah, there we go. The limpkin. They call it the crying bird, but they should call it the screaming bird. It was like screaming, and I heard it long before I got around the corner to the fence post where we're screaming, sitting on this fence post. Just, I guess they're interesting. They eat snails. They have those long beaks, and they reach down into water and up underneath like underhangs and stuff where snails are always hanging out, and they grab snails with that long beak and crack open their shells and eat themselves some snails. Um, okay, just jump back over to here. Burp, burp, burp. Get Recipe said, "This is fun to watch. Thanks for sharing it with us, talking about our touching trees and feeling the forest and touching the nature." So let's just take a real quick peek at Get Recipes channel. I bet I can guess what they're talking about. It's called Guest Recipe. Oh man, do I love French toast. How to make French toast. Quick and easy, classic French toast. How hard can it be? You dip the bread in the eggs and you cook it. Yeah, that's hold on. I thought for sure I had a sneeze coming, but I was wrong. And I reached up and I hit the mute and no sneeze. Oh well. Better to mute and have no sneeze than to sneeze and not mute, right? That's the nice thing about this microphone, is that there's a very easy, handy, easy to grab mute button right there. The problem is if you turn it on at the beginning of your live stream and you forget that you have it on, and then you start talking for 5 minutes without any volume. And here's Granny's southern corner. After I jumped into her live stream, she actually went out of her way to come over here to one of my shorts and say, thank you for jumping into the live stream tonight. Appreciate your support. Of course we support you, Granny. Everybody go support the Granny. Go to Granny's and support her. You can see I'm already subscribed. Oh, she's a nice lady. And then when I had a video about the $27 parking at the boat ramp in Boynton, our good old friend Tendy Edits, who's a funny guy. I got to show you one of his videos. I'm going to show you one of his videos. He's funny. But he says the whole pay online blah, blah, blah is ridiculous. Should just simply be free parking, but no overnights without a permit or something. So, yeah, if they did free parking there, the problem is people would park who weren't actually using the boat ramp. People would just start to use it as parking to go to the beach or parking to go shopping. And you really want to keep the parking area free for people with boat ramps and stuff. So let me show you a funny video by this guy. He's hilarious. Where is the video I'm thinking of? What's he got? A bunch of video games. Yeah, here we go. This was funny. He's got a friend here who's out at the shooting range, and he's doing his shooting range thing. And then up comes Tendy Edits on his bicycle. This has got to be the most American thing ever. We're out riding bicycles at a shooting range. Okay, he almost crashes his bicycle, so that's embarrassing. Tendy Edits, you are cracking me up. Okay, so Florida. Okay, this is Granny again. Granny says Florida has so many beautiful places. And she told us in a previous video that she used to live over on the West Coast, real close to that area I went to, 6 Mile Cypress Slough. She used to live very close to that. She says Florida has so many beautiful places. It's appalling, the cost of parking. And then, she also said that she buys the state pass every year and bought the national pass as well. If I know, I'll be in a few of them. So she's talking about the national pass you can... Oops, sorry, I just bonked my microphone. I hope that wasn't loud. She's talking about the national pass you can get to go out to national parks and state parks. You can pay for the annual access. It's basically like the price of 2 single visits, and then you can get unlimited visits for a whole year. So 100% corrector. And our friend John Ruddy said to say hello to Texas Dad. So he's not going to be able to make it. He's catching up. Say hello to Texas Dad. And what does he say? Remember to zen in the park. You don't need appointment. There's usually no copay. I guess he was watching our live stream from last week. He's getting caught up on our live stream from last week, and he's commenting, and he goes, remember to zen in the park. You don't need an appointment, and there's usually no copay. That's an insurance joke for us folks here in America, where we have our insurance, but we have our copay. And our friend, so you said this a couple hours ago, maybe about an hour before we started the stream, I'll see you soon. Absolutely, ma'am, and you did. You were in here on time. So, we're all going to make it. You got this. That'll be the video we do on Friday. And other than that, I'm kind of running out of things to talk about. I think I've had my fill of being silly tonight. Monica, I have definitely enjoyed your company. Thank you very much for joining me. And there's currently nobody else watching except for you. But the video will be... oh, see, now that happened again. I got to pay attention to this. I've got a schedule for my light, that lamp there. And I normally have this stuff turn off at 11 o'clock my time, 11 p.m. on every night. But I got to remember on Wednesday nights, there we go, turn that back on. I turned it on from my phone. Isn't that clever? Turned it back on, but I gotta set it so that on Wednesday nights it doesn't turn off at 11 o'clock. Otherwise, I'll cut back to this camera and it'll be all dark. So Suzuki says good night to everybody. And Quiet Nomad says good night to everybody. You know what I can do? I gotta do this thing. There's a trick. There we go. I gotta make these bigger, much better. And then while I'm thinking about it, I'm gonna do a little bit of administrative work here while I'm thinking about it on these other scenes. And we'll do this one. There we go. That way those are nice and large when we're reading through those. Okay, cool. What is my choice of hat for next week? Good question. We probably shouldn't decide this now. Should wait till next week, but I'm thinking we'll go a little Scottish. What do you think? If we go this way for next week, would that work? But other than that, I'm going to sign off and say goodnight to everybody. And this video will be available for folks to watch after this is over. So anybody who's watching this after the fact, thanks for tuning in, especially if you stayed for this long and stuck around for this late. And other than that, I will see everybody later. Thank you, Monica, for hanging out for so long. I'm sure it is about time to get up for work in an hour or something for you now, right? Let's see. Let's calculate what time is it over there. 4, a few minutes after 4 a.m. in Scotland. Is that right? Did I guess that correctly? I know how to tell. I can look it up. Yeah, it's a couple minutes after 4 o'clock in the morning. You are crazy staying up this late, but I appreciate you. All right, everybody. Thank you very much for hanging out, sticking it out, and I will see you in the next live stream. Does that sound good? Where is my, I just lost my music player. Oh, I see what happened. I don't know how I did it, but somehow I managed to go to, I've got a music player and it accidentally hit some kind of crazy keyboard combination that, I don't know, minimized it, made it into a mini player. I don't know. Thanks, everybody. I'll see you later. Bye-bye.